What's up, everybody? It's JayViper here. I want to talk about the comment that was left on Asmongold's video by the CEO of Sabre Interactive, a guy named Matthew Karch. Seems like it was him that left that comment indeed, and there's some media that are already starting to have their little meltdown. In fact, they pretty much showed that they were going to have a meltdown. Let's get to it right now.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
So here on Park Place, we can see that it seems like Matthew Karch confirms the authenticity of his comment, decrying games at Embracer Group that had overblown attempts at messaging or imposing morals on gamers. So real quick, let's just get to what the actual comment was, all right? So this was on an Asmongold video where Asmon was basically saying how great Space Marine 2, and he was hitting all the points that he really liked about it. Well, this guy, Matthew Karch, left a comment on that video. It said, "Hey man, CEO of Sabre here. I love your videos. When we signed the deal to make Space Marine 2, all I wanted was a throwback game. We had the chance to work on something which by its nature was old school. I can't even comprehend many of the current games that we play these days. They're too complex and too much of an investment." Now, this is about costs. Now, the games are getting insanely expensive. Very true. But he also said, "We worked on Halo back in the day, and the game could be distilled down to the simplest of shooting loops, but it was entirely addicting. That is what we want to recapture." Moving on, he says, "I hope that games like Space Marine 2 and Wukong are the start of a reversion to a time when games were simply about fun and immersion." And he ends, "I spent some time as Chief Operating Officer at Embracer, and I saw games there that made me want to cry with their overblown attempts at messaging or imposing morals on gamers. We just want to do some gory kills and get the heart rate up a little. And for me, that is what games should be about." And I think a lot of us would agree with this. Games are for fun, immersing yourself in, and just basically having a good time and not worrying about messaging and all these things. This is him confirming what we have suspected for so long. There's a lot of messaging injected into games, and it's taking away from a lot of just the simple fun that games are supposed to be. So where did the comment come from? It came from LinkedIn, okay? So someone over on LinkedIn actually said, "So refreshing to see Matthew Karch engaging with the community. Base CEO. I wish big companies would hear their community and their customers, players, and not just shareholders." And Karch responded on LinkedIn, "Whoever wrote that seems pretty sharp." Smiley face. So this is pretty much confirmation that, yeah, this is him. It came from him. As I suspected on my other video that it was him because there was another designer that responded and I verified that person's identity. So this leads me to Ethan Gatch over at Kotaku, a bad actor and a major problem who pretty much listens to anyone he doesn't agree with like this. So Ethan's been on top of this. He was trying to verify if it was actually Matthew or not that left the comment, and he couldn't get to the bottom of it. So the comment was left on a video where Asmongold was also breaking down the issues with Dustborn and how it was a financial failure, a major financial failure. Well, here's Ethan coming in, swooping in, trying to help out Dustborn with this. Rather than just disagreeing with the values expressed in the game, it became important for some to show that the game had financially failed and was bad because of those values. We're telling you it failed because it was bad. This is Ethan, again, this is a straw man argument, which is what Ethan does. We're going to see this again, too. Get ready. And just like some are now championing Space Marine 2, not just because it's fun or well-designed game, but in part claiming that it's fun and well-designed because it centers young men as the target demographic. No one is doing this. So this is the issue with games that are basically woke and like throw it in your face. It's because at some point in design, they lose the plot. They become so focused on shoving demographics into a game that they lose focus on what's important in the game itself to make it good. And their focus gets diverted and the actual gameplay suffers. The game itself suffers. They start putting things in the game that don't make total sense. It detracts from the game, takes away from immersion. And then in the end, you have all these little bits that are being put together that don't make any sense and don't make a good game. It happens all the time. It doesn't happen naturally in game design right now. Diversity happens naturally. It will just happen. As you design the game, things will happen. But if you're shoehorning people in and saying we must have this amount of women. We must have this amount of men. We must have this amount of different colored. I mean, in certain places, it doesn't make sense, right? Make a game. Just make a game. So in this article, he continues to pretty much just hit on Asmongold and detract from him. And he also states how Space Marine 2 is successful just on its own, has nothing to do with it being anti-woke, etc. But as I just explained how important it is to not let those things get in the way. And the CEO himself said that was a very specific reason that they made the game this way. And that was to get those things out of the way and make a game simple and fun. That is from his own words. Ethan Gatch is a senior reporter over here at Kotaku. Not an editor or anything like that, but he's been there a while. So the question becomes, has Ethan written this article in good faith? Is he covering this article with an open mind? Or is Ethan an activist? Let's hop on over to X, the place where people can say whatever they want without consequence, but we get to look at the receipts, which is why I love X so much. Here's American Truck Song 9, aka Ethan Gatch. So this is on September 17th. He said, I asked Sabre for comment on if this is really Matt Karch's account or not, since it reads like anti-woke crusader slop, but haven't heard back yet. The account was only created in May, and the bio reads generic male of sorts. Now we know that it was actually Matthew. So I want to talk about this tweet right here and what it really means. Now, this is Ethan prefacing that he will attack, and Kataku will attack Matthew and Sabre Interactive if they claim it's Matthew Karch's tweet. That is what this is, because he's saying it's a garbage tweet. He's saying only some anti-woke crusader slop would actually say anything like this, not a CEO. And oh, wow, if it is, we'll get into that, right? I mean, this is where he's coming from. This is activist mentality, okay? So this is him prefacing that they want to go after Sabre Interactive or Matthew and detract from them. 100%, and you could see it in the way that that he wrote his article. And the other thing is that Ethan keeps updating this article for some reason, but he hasn't updated it. It's actually Matthew Karch that said it yet, even though we know that that is now confirmed. So I'm interested in seeing if there's going to be another article where he tries to slam him, or if he just updates the article saying it's confirmed it's him. I have a feeling we haven't heard the end from Ethan, Kataku, and all the other writers. So, but listen to this tweet that Ethan left. You can like Space Marine 2 and want more games like it without pretending they are under siege by some shadowy cancel culture cabal. Okay, sure, Ethan, sure. We're just making it up, right? We're just making it up. Us finding out about Sweet Baby Inc. and how they're basically destroying games from the inside as a consulting firm that don't really add anything to a game. We just made all that up, right? These games are failing because we're making it up. These games are bad because we're making it up when they get involved and ruin things and basically just make it so everything just turns into crap, right? We're just making that up. I guess we're also making it up because the CEO of Sabre Interactive is actually telling us that this is happening. It's happening. He's saying it. He said it. He said it. And this is why we have the preface from Ethan and others, is because they know that this wall, this strange wall that they're building up around all these DEI firms, that they're protecting them. And they are. Kotaku is, IGN is, they are. They're protecting this ideology that we are saying this is coming in games. We see it. We know it's happening. And they're trying to say, these people don't do what you say they do. We've seen that. We saw it. Okay, we know it's happening. But people like Ethan are going to die on that hill where they say this is not happening. None of this is because of that. It's all these other things that have nothing to do with that. Meanwhile, it's that. It's that. That's a huge part of it. It is. So their little house of cards is getting ready to tumble down, and they're very, very protective of it, okay? They don't want anything to happen to their house of cards, but it's time to knock it down. And this is another step in that, is thank you to the CEO over at Sabre Interactive, Matthew Karch, for doing that. Anyway, that's all I have for today. You tell me what you think. Is Ethan in the right? Is Matthew in the right? Was it Matthew? You tell me in the comments below what you think about this whole situation, because I think this is just the beginning of this. I think that Sabre Interactive is going to start seeing heat from the media really soon. And also, I want to put this out there. The new Dragon Age, the Veilguard, looks like trash. And they need to delay it and fix it and put blood in there instead of lights. I'm JayViper. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification bell so I can see you back on the next one. Love you, mean, and peace. Bye, everybody.
He's owning every